top one, United States of America has a long history of producing some of the most iconic and valuable coins in the world, and among those, certain years stand out for their rarity, historical significance, and unexpected worth. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 United States 1-cent coin. This small, seemingly ordinary penny has a unique story to tell, and it might just be worth a lot more than you think. You might be wondering, what makes the 1971 1-cent coin so special? After all, millions of them were minted that year, and pennies are one of the most common coins in circulation. But there's a catch. Like many other coins, certain versions of the 1971 penny are incredibly rare and can fetch an astonishing price in the right market. The key factor that can elevate the value of these coins is a subtle but critical difference in their minting. The 1971 penny was primarily produced at the Philadelphia Mint. It's the most common version you'll come across, with billions of them circulating throughout the United States. But not all 1971 pennies are created equal. While most of them are worth just 1 cent in face value, certain ones, those that were produced with specific minting errors, are worth far more. These errors are often the result of imperfections in the die or problems with the minting process. One such error involves the famous double die variety. A double die coin occurs when the die used to strike the coin hits the planchet, or the blank coin, more than once, causing the image or inscription on the coin to appear doubled. The 1971 penny, in particular, has a known double die variety, and if you happen to find one of these in your collection or loose change, you could be holding a rare and valuable piece of American history. The doubled design is often most visible in the word liberty and the date, and if you closely examine the coin, you might be able to spot the faint yet unmistakable doubling effect. The difference between a regular 1971 penny and a double die version may seem small, but this small detail can make a huge difference when it comes to value. So, what's the worth of a 1971 1-cent coin with this error? It can vary based on its condition, but in the case of high-grade examples, the value can skyrocket. For a penny in mint condition, with clear doubling visible, collectors and numismatists alike will eagerly compete to acquire it. A 1971 double die penny in excellent condition can fetch thousands of dollars at auction, making it a valuable addition to any collection. Now, let's talk about the general market. Most 1971 pennies in average condition are still only worth their face value, but if you're lucky enough to find one with a minting error, it could be a game changer for your collection. Even if you don't have one of these rare error coins, the 1971 penny is still an interesting piece of American history. It represents a time of transition in U.S. currency, with the penny design remaining unchanged and the nation heading toward the modern era. If you're interested in coin collecting or just curious about the history behind your pocket change, keep an eye out for this particular penny. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden treasure. But if you happen to find one with that valuable double die error, don't let it slip through your fingers. So, what's the final word on the 1971 1-cent coin's value? While most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, a well-preserved 1971 double die penny can be worth a staggering $24,000. Top 2. The world of coin collecting is filled with fascinating discoveries, and sometimes the most unexpected coins can turn out to be worth far more than you might imagine. Today, we're talking about the 1977 United States 1-cent coin. To the average person, it might seem like just another penny, something that's easy to overlook in your pocket change. But for coin collectors, the 1977 penny has some serious potential to become a valuable asset. So, what makes this seemingly ordinary coin so special, and why is it worth much more than just 1 cent? In 1977, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. Like many of the pennies minted during this period, the 1977 penny was made using the same copper alloy that had been in use since the 19th century. The design, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was the same as it had been since 1959. So, at first glance, there's nothing particularly striking about this coin. But, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, it's the subtle details that make the difference. The key factor that has driven interest in the 1977 penny lies in the presence of rare and valuable minting errors. While most 1977 pennies are perfectly fine and worth no more than their face value, some examples were struck with defects or mistakes that make them highly desirable to collectors. Among the most notable of these errors is the double die variety, where the design on the coin appears to be double due to an issue with the die during the minting process. This subtle yet important error causes the letters and numbers on the coin to appear slightly offset or duplicated, making the coin stand out from the rest. The double die error is one of the most sought-after types of minting flaws, and it's particularly valuable when it's found on high-quality coins like the 1977 penny. For collectors, a 1977 penny with a noticeable double die error, particularly in the inscription Liberty or the date 1977, can be a real treasure. While the majority of 1977 pennies were struck without any issues, those with this error are far rarer, making them more valuable on the market. In addition to the double die error, there are also other types of minting flaws that could make a 1977 penny more valuable. Coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, or other unique characteristics are always in demand among collectors. A coin that has been struck incorrectly or has an unusual design feature can attract interest because it represents an imperfection in the minting process, something that's relatively rare and historically significant. These imperfections can turn an otherwise ordinary penny into something extraordinary. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value as well. As with any collectible item, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin is likely to be. Coins that are in mint condition, with little to no wear and tear, are the ones that will command the highest prices. If you're fortunate enough to find a 1977 penny that is both error-struck and in excellent condition, you could be looking at a rare and highly desirable piece for your collection now. You might be wondering, what's the actual value of a 1977 penny, and how much could it be worth if it's a rare error coin? Well, for the vast majority of 1977 pennies, they're worth only their face value, 1 cent. However, when it comes to the rare error coins, particularly those with double die varieties or other significant flaws, the value can rise dramatically. In some cases, these pennies have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions or through private sales. The rarer and more pristine the coin, the higher its potential price. For example, a 1977 penny with the double die error in excellent condition can easily be worth much more than the average penny in circulation. High-grade versions of these rare error coins are especially sought after by numismatists and collectors, and they can fetch impressive sums at auctions. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these coins, you might just find that it's worth far more than you ever thought. To wrap things up, while most 1977 pennies are worth just 1 cent, the rare error versions, particularly those with a double die or other minting flaws, can be worth significantly more. If you're fortunate enough to find a well-preserved 1977 penny with a striking error, you could be holding a coin worth an incredible $23,000. Top 3 coin collecting. Many people are surprised to learn that even the most common coins can be worth far more than their face value. One such coin is the 1982 United States 1 cent, which, despite being part of a regular mintage, has captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts due to some rare and valuable versions that can fetch an impressive price. What makes this particular year stand out, and why is it so valuable? Let's dive into the world of the 1982 penny, uncover its secrets, and see what might make it worth a lot more than you think. The 1982 1-cent coin is notable for one main reason: it marks a transition in the U.S. mint's design and production process. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, with rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a significant change in the material composition of the penny. Starting in mid-1982, the penny was produced with a copper-plated zinc core, a shift that had a major impact on the coin's weight and overall appearance. This change in material is one of the factors that has contributed to the 1982 penny's potential value, but it's not the only reason. The 1982 1-cent coin was minted in 2 different compositions, copper and copper-plated zinc. The first batch of pennies was made using the traditional copper material, while the second batch used the new zinc core. The key to the coin's value lies in how to differentiate these two types of pennies and why it matters so much to collectors. The copper-based 1982 pennies, produced early in the year, are significantly rarer than the zinc-plated version, and this rarity is exactly what makes them so valuable. While most of the 1982 pennies you come across will be made of the zinc composition, there's a chance that you could come across one of the rarer copper versions. The difference in weight between the two types of pennies is significant, with the copper-based penny weighing 3.11 grams, while the zinc version weighs only 2.5 grams. This slight difference is one of the easiest ways to spot the valuable copper pennies, but what really elevates the value of some 1982 pennies is the existence of certain minting errors. Just like with other years and coin types, some 1982 pennies were struck with rare mistakes during the production process. These errors, especially when they occur on the copper-based pennies, can dramatically increase the coin's worth. One of the most well-known errors from this year is the double die variety, where the image on the penny is doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. This error is often visible in the word Liberty or the date 1982, and if you find one of these coins, it could be a major find. If you come across a double die 1982 penny, or even better, a copper version of it with the double die error, you could be holding something truly special. These coins, especially when they are in good condition, have attracted significant attention from collectors, driving up their value. Of course, the condition of the coin plays a big role in determining how much it's worth. Coins that are in excellent shape, with minimal wear and tear, are the ones that fetch the highest prices. Beyond the double die errors, other unique features can contribute to the 1982 penny's value. For example, coins that have been misstruck or have unique variations in the design can also attract the attention of serious collectors. The 1982 penny has become a popular item for those looking to add valuable pieces to their collection, and its rarity combined with the interesting historical context behind its production only adds to its allure. Now, you might be wondering just how much a 1982 penny could be worth. Most 1982 pennies are still just worth their face value, especially the zinc-plated ones. However, the copper version, particularly if it has a minting error, can be worth a great deal more. For a well-preserved copper penny with a significant error or unique characteristic, the value could easily reach impressive figures. These pennies have been known to sell for thousands of dollars at auction, and if you happen to stumble upon one of these rare finds, you could be in for quite the surprise. So, what's the final takeaway on the value of the 1982 penny? While the majority of these coins are still just worth 1 cent, if you happen to find one of the rare copper pennies or a version with a minting error like the double die, you could be holding something worth an astounding $22,000. Top 4 coin collecting. Many people think that only the older or more well-known coins are worth anything significant. But in reality, even more modern coins can hold surprising value, sometimes far beyond what you might expect. One coin that fits this category is the 1987 United States 1 cent. While most of us would pass it by without giving it a second thought, this particular penny has caught the attention of collectors and can sometimes be worth far more than just 1 cent. So, what makes the 1987 penny so special, and why should you care about it? Let's take a closer look at this often overlooked coin and see why it's more valuable than you might think. The 1987 penny is part of the long-running series of 1 cent coins, which have been produced since the late 18th century. The penny features the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side, which has been in use since 1959. But the 1987 1 cent coin itself doesn't stand out for its design. Instead, its value lies in some of the rare characteristics and errors associated with it. Like many other coins, the 1987 penny was produced in large quantities, with billions of them minted, so finding a regular 1987 penny in circulation won't get you much more than its face value. However, there are certain factors that can make this coin a hidden gem in your pocket. Change point. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1987 penny is its rarity when it comes to minting errors. While the U.S. Mint strives to produce coins with precision, human error and machine malfunctions can sometimes result in rare and valuable mistakes. The 1987 penny is one of those coins where certain errors, particularly on high-quality examples, can increase its value significantly. These errors, while relatively rare, are what collectors search for when scouring through their spare change or examining their coin collections. Among the most notable errors on the 1987 penny are double die varieties. A double die coin occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or hits the blank coin more than once, causing the image to appear doubled. This double impression can be seen on various parts of the coin, but the most common areas to examine are the lettering and date. A 1987 penny with a noticeable double die effect, especially on the words Liberty or the date itself, can be worth far more than a regular penny. The presence of a double die on a 1987 penny can make it an instant collector's item, and high-quality examples with this error can command impressive prices at auctions or among collectors. Beyond the double die errors, other minting flaws can also contribute to the value of a 1987 penny. Coins that were struck off-center or with other design issues, such as unusual die cracks, misalignments, or weak strikes, can also be worth more than you might expect. Even something as small as a slight misprint can make a coin stand out in the eyes of collectors, particularly those who specialize in rare or flawed coins. These coins are highly sought after by those looking to complete their collections or add something unique to their portfolios. Another factor that can impact the value of a 1987 penny is its overall condition. As with any collectible item, the better the condition of the coin, the higher its potential value. A 1987 penny that is well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, is more likely to attract collectors looking for coins in great shape. Pennies that have been circulated extensively may show signs of damage, such as scratches, discoloration, or dents, which can lower their value. On the other hand, a mint-condition 1987 penny, especially one with a minting error, could be worth far more than a similar coin that has been heavily used. Now, let's talk about how much a 1987 penny could actually be worth. While most of these pennies are worth no more than 1 cent, a well-preserved 1987 penny with a significant minting error, such as a double die variety or an off-center strike, could fetch thousands of dollars. The true value depends on factors like the severity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the demand in the collector's market. However, some rare examples of 1987 pennies have been known to sell for amounts that are far greater than you might ever expect. So, if you happen to find a 1987 penny in your change, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a moment to examine the coin carefully. Look for any doubling in the letters or numbers, check for any unusual minting flaws, and make sure it's in good condition. You might just have a valuable coin on your hands, one that could make a big difference in your collection or your wallet. In conclusion, while most 1987 pennies may be worth no more than their face value, certain rare and unique varieties of this coin have been known to fetch astonishing prices in the reg market. For example, a 1987 penny with a prominent minting error could easily be worth $21,000. Top 5 1995 United States 1 cent have a surprising value far beyond their simple face value. And if you're a coin collector or even just an everyday person who occasionally checks your change, you might be holding onto a rare treasure without even knowing it. The 1995 penny is one of those coins that holds hidden potential, and today we're going to take a deep dive into what makes it special and why it's worth much more than just a cent. In the year 1995, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies for circulation, just like every other year. The penny, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, had been part of American currency for decades, and the design hadn't changed since 1959. But in the case of the 1995 penny, it's not the design that makes it noteworthy, it's the subtle, yet extremely rare, minting errors that can transform this seemingly mundane coin into something highly valuable. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1995 penny is its connection to a very specific and very rare error, the 1995 double die penny. This is not just a minor mistake in the minting process, but a striking error that can lead to a coin being worth thousands of dollars. A double die error happens when the die used to strike the coin does so in such a way that the image is stamped twice, creating a doubling effect. For the 1995 penny, this means that you may notice the word Liberty and the date 1995 appearing double or even slightly misaligned when viewed under magnification. The doubling can be subtle, but for experienced collectors, it's a huge red flag that you may have a rare and valuable coin on your hands. This error is one of the most famous and sought-after varieties among coin collectors, and finding a 1995 double die penny could significantly impact your collection. The reason this particular error is so valuable is that only a very small percentage of the 1995 pennies were affected. Most of them were struck without any issues, but the ones with the double die error are incredibly rare and desirable. In fact, these coins are considered to be some of the most coveted modern error coins out there. Beyond the double die variety, the 1995 penny also benefits from being part of the transitional period for the U.S. Mint's coinage. During this time, the Mint was experimenting with different techniques, which resulted in the occasional production flaw. It's not just the double die error that makes the 1995 penny special, but also the possibility of other minor minting errors, such as misalignments or off-center strikes, that collectors actively search for. These small imperfections can add up to a big value in the coin collecting world. If you come across a 1995 penny, how do you know if it's worth more than just 1 cent? The first step is to examine it closely. Take a good look at the word Liberty and the date 1995 under magnification. If you can spot any kind of doubling or a second, faint impression of these features, you may have discovered a double die penny. Additionally, pay attention to the coin's condition. The better the quality of the coin, with minimal wear and no damage, the more valuable it will be. Coins that have been well preserved in mint condition are highly sought after, especially those with rare errors. The demand for error coins, especially those from specific years like 1995, has been increasing over the years. As the coin collecting community continues to grow, so does the appreciation for these rare mistakes in minting. The 1995 double die penny is no exception, and many collectors are willing to pay a premium for a high-quality version of this coin. So, what kind of value are we talking about here? While most 1995 pennies are worth no more than their face value of 1 cent, the error coins can be worth a lot more. In fact, a well-preserved 1995 double die penny has been known to sell for thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. If you happen to find one of these rare coins in excellent shape, you could be looking at a significant windfall. To sum it up, the 1995 1-cent coin may seem like just another penny, but certain versions of it, especially those with minting errors like the double die, can be worth far more. If you find a 1995 penny with the double die error in good condition, it could be worth an astonishing $20,000. Top 6. Have you ever stopped to think about how much your pocket change might actually be worth? You might be surprised to learn that some of the most common coins, like the humble 1982 United States 1 cent, could have a hidden value far beyond what meets the eye. While most people casually toss their pennies into a jar or leave them behind on store counters, there are some rare versions of the 1982 penny that can fetch an astounding price. So, what makes this coin so special, and how can you tell if you're holding a valuable piece of history in your hand? Let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1982 penny, explore its unique characteristics, and uncover why it's worth much more than just 1 cent. The 1982 penny is a part of the United States Mint's long-running series of 1-cent coins, and it stands out primarily because of a significant change that occurred in that year. Up until then, pennies had been made primarily from a copper alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, in the early 1980s, the price of copper was on the rise, leading the U.S. Mint to rethink its penny production. In 1982, the Mint introduced a new composition for the 1-cent coin, a copper-plated zinc core, which was much cheaper to produce. So, why is this change so important when it comes to the 1982 penny's value? Well, the new zinc-based pennies, which started production in mid-1982, were noticeably lighter and different in composition compared to the earlier copper-based ones. This change in the materials led to 2 distinct types of pennies being minted in 1982, one made of mostly copper and the other made from copper-plated zinc. To the untrained eye, these pennies may look the same, but in the world of coin collecting, they're far from identical. The 1982 copper-based penny, which was struck before the mint switched to the zinc composition, is relatively rare compared to the newer, zinc-based pennies. The key to its value lies in its composition, being made from almost 100% copper. In fact, the copper penny from 1982 weighs 3.11 grams, whereas the zinc version weighs only 2.5 grams. That difference in weight is one of the easiest ways to identify which version of the penny you have, but there's more to the 1982 penny than just its composition. In the world of coin collecting, it's not just about finding a rare coin, it's also about the quality and any potential minting errors that may make a coin even more valuable. One of the most sought-after errors in 1982 pennies is the double die variety. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, causing the image to appear doubled. In the case of the 1982 penny, the most common place to spot the doubling is in the word Liberty and the date 1982. If you have a penny with this double die error, you may have stumbled upon a rare and valuable coin that could be worth a small fortune. Beyond the double die error, there are other types of minting mistakes that can increase the value of a 1982 penny. For example, pennies with off-center strikes, die cracks, or other abnormalities are highly prized by collectors. Even subtle imperfections can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary in the eyes of a dedicated numismatist. These minting errors, while they may seem small, can significantly increase the rarity of the coin, and that rarity is what drives up its value. Now, let's talk about how much a 1982 penny could be worth. While the vast majority of these pennies are worth no more than their face value of 1 cent, the rare copper-based pennies, especially those with minting errors like the double die, can fetch impressive prices. In fact, certain 1982 pennies have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition. When it comes to a 1982 penny with a minting error, especially one with the double die variety, it's not uncommon for collectors to bid fiercely for the chance to add such a piece to their collection. These rare coins can sell for far more than a simple penny. High-quality examples of the 1982 copper penny, particularly those with noticeable errors, can command impressive sums at auctions or private sales. So, what's the bottom line? While the majority of 1982 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, the rare copper-based pennies, especially those with errors like the double die, have the potential to be worth a significant amount of money. If you happen to come across one of these rare coins, in good condition and with a noticeable minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth an extraordinary $22,000.